Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st Millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Pryce, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is the third volume in a report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesys Adaptation of Warhammer 40k's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee and players Ryan LaPlante as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt as Attikus Vis, Laura Hamstra as Eli Sharpe, and Borovic as Morgan Rhalls. My report shows that Inquisitor Valentyne and Attikus, along with the last surviving Stormtrooper in their team, are escaping into the hive pursued by the Redacted. Meanwhile, Morgan and Eli both manage to get into the back room of the Claw and Wing before a strike team bursts through the front door. Can Attikus and Valentyne hire a new ally while Eli and Morgan escape new foes? Find out next in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
An overheard conversation in a dark alley.
Look, Gibson, it's truly not you. It's me. I simply don't need a swashbuckler on the team anymore. You understand, of course. It was nice you added color and flavor to our escapades, but, well, son, have you considered learning the word stealth?
Rest of the recording is obscured by loud, uproarious weeping. Attikus and Valentyne, you are facing down Gibson Offenlander, notorious swashbuckler and a loyalist of note. As I've described, he's sort of a Carrie Ewells-looking guy, very flamboyant outfit, and he's drawn down on you, being somewhat concerned about the nature of things. But you see his eyes go wide as Valentyne, you make your grand pronouncement, and he looks confused, but also hopeful. Hope-fused, if you will, as he kind of like his gun like lowers a little bit, so it's no longer pointed at your head. The Kotsgar is like a cat ready to pounce. Like she's just like her entire body is like a wound spring. Unfortunately, because Gibson has drawn down on you, like she knows the situation is bad, but like this is the kind of person she came prepared to put down. So you can tell she's having a real moment. But Valentyne, you of course have made your pronouncement that you're hiring. What do you do?
I just flash the rosette. Play it super fucking casual. Like there's no way this guy's gonna shoot me. Also, he's got a refractor field on, so he's a little bit more confident than he might otherwise be. And just be like, this is Colonel Attikus Vis, and this is Sergeant Koskar of the Inquisitorial Stormtroopers. We can guarantee your position working alongside us, or if you don't want to do that for long term, you can stay at the fortress. However, we need to keep moving. There's an army of Redacted after us.
Truly, the Redacted, my old nemesis. They find us even here, nipping at your heels. Worry not, Inquisitor. Gibson Offenlander has you. Come! And with a flourish of his cape, just a full sweep, full up and over here, like Batman would be envious. He takes off, running in that way where his cape is flapping out behind him, as dramatically as possible. And he just like he takes off at like a proper musketeer jog, and then he kind of slows and looks back over his shoulder to make sure that you're all following.
Valentyne, the moment he turned, I'd be like, Koskar, is that the way we want to go?
And she kind of nods, panicked, still figuring out whether or not she should just shoot this clown in the back, and says, generally, yes, more so than back, so
perfect.
we can always kill him later.
Let's follow, and then we can steer. And then he's just going to kind of start taking off after him. If this guy wants to move like a hero away from combat, he's on board. Valentyne's good.
Excellent. Well, move like a hero away from combat you do. The four of you sort of take off, And
Caiaphas caning, as it were.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, just caning right out of there. Don't worry, the written account will be much better about your heroics.
As long as Sola's not involved.
So he's doing like the full Andy Dwyer being Burt Macklin thing, where he's just like anything he can shoulder roll over. He can if he can hobby horse leap over something, he does. You get the sense there's probably like an orchestral theme playing in his head as he does all of this. Kotzgar and I imagine Valentyne and Vis, you're just taking the more direct route, which is like just stepping around these things, which takes honestly slightly less time and less effort. But he's really making a show of it. And finally, as you kind of continue to weave through, and you can hear the opposing forces behind you, right? Like you can hear the redacted sort of mobsters like making their way through. You hear occasional las fire as they're doing the hey, look, some lumpy clothes, shoot it. Nope, nothing. All right, move on. But unfortunately, again, having not got a proper look at any of you in the sort of large food court area, they don't have a direct line to you, right? They know this is the general vicinity you're in, but they're not like, exactly hot on your heels, because I rolled really badly for that. So as he leads you forward, finally, you come to just like a heavy metal door, and it's got like some posters just shellacked over the back of it that are clearly like band posters, that sort of thing. And he just says, "This is a fine place to wet one's whistle, and I'm thinking that perhaps we could take refuge in here until we figure out a better course of action. Allow me to do the secret knock." And he glowers at Kotzgar and Attikus, clearly not wanting to do it for anyone but the Inquisitor. What do you do, Attikus?
I say, is this the claw and wing?
Why, yes.
I'll do the secret knock. And I just punch the door open.
And it's just like in slow motion, the fist goes by his hand. And just like door gets punched off and in, which is very alarming and disturbing for the two guys on guard in that back room. But also perhaps for you, Morgan, crouching in that back room as your back door explodes inward off its hinges and slams into one of the sort of like storage racks. So immediately, canned goods fly everywhere. Glass bottles shatter. There's just kind of complete chaos. The two redacted immediately like turn on the gap. And just start hosing fire into it. Like they just there's no hesitation on their end because they kind of know their business. We'll figure out what happens to Attikus and the party in a moment. Morgan, I'm curious about what your reaction is as this happens. You've been kind of waiting for an appropriate moment. You're also waiting on Eli to make his way out. You don't know how wildly successful he's been out there, but we sure as shit do. Heavy blaster fire is heavy bolter fire is just ripping up the front of the bar, but you're sure either he's fine or you'll just do the thing you always do, which is survive. So Morgan, what do you do in this moment?
Yeah, I think it's take stock of the situation, and then is this door between her exit? Because she wanted to go further into the back room to try and figure out like where they came from, where the exit is. So it's a matter of, are they blocking? Is the exit for her now blocked?
So kind of, yeah. So basically this door was beyond the hole that they'd borne, because they bored a hole into your delivery chute. This is the back door to the bar. This is just straight up your back door into the alley. So it's beyond the delivery chute a little bit. So the chute is still accessible and it's still open. I think the way I'm imagining it, there's like a little office back there. There's like the delivery chute, and then there's kind of the back door a couple feet away from that. So it's not like it's completely blocked. The door didn't like comedically fall over onto it like a video game that's just blocking your path arbitrarily. And honestly, if your goal is the delivery chute, this is drawing them away from that, which is what they were guarding. Like they if they were like on either side, they've now had to kind of turn as this door comes blasting in and kind of rush. They weren't on either side. They're not flanking the door. They're just like wildly opening fire into it. So that's kind of what you're seeing as you hear the front room get just annihilated with bolter rounds.
Yeah, I think at this point it is stealth. It is trying to stay in the shadows, maybe climbing up on top of one of those shelving units and trying to stay near the shady, dark edges of the room. But it's like, let all these people fucking kill each other. Just find a corner to hide in and wait it out and hope that Eli isn't dead is basically, that's it.
Okay,
So
all right.
it's more hiding and more recon of just like, not my fucking problem.
Yeah, not your Batmobile. Okay, I love that. Let's I think your stealth is kind of already established and I think well established at this point for this particular encounter. So I'd like to instead deal with the climbing up piece.
Sure.
Because I don't doubt that under normal circumstances, Morgan could just do this with no problems. But this is a sneaking mission climb during an intense scenario. And I've watched enough horror and/or adventure movies to know that there's a lot of shit that can slip when you step on it. And then Timmy has to run and hide in the oven or whatever, like Jurassic Park. So let's go with, I feel like athletics is probably the way to go here. But I would take athletics and agility if you want over athletics and brawn.
I would love that. That would be wonderful.
I feel like you're not I'm going to like murder my way up this wall. I'm going to climb this intelligently.
Correct.
Yeah.
So athletics and agility. Okay, I've got that. And my difficulty?
Difficulty, I'm going to say is only 3. It would be lower except for all the drama. And also your shelves are full of stuff.
Yes.
But it's also a shelving unit. Like it's very easy to climb. You don't need to work too hard for it. I'm going to say setback from trying to do this stealthily. So not loudly. And a further setback that I'm just basically going to label as like chaos, like between them shooting and the occasional like chunk of the back of the bar that's blowing inward from, because like heavy bolter, like bolters are bad enough. Like a heavy bolter is like bad news bears. Like that's like rip up your vehicles and your hearty kids.
Completely.
So I think it's just like there's enough shit exploding back here that it's a bit of a problem for you. I will, however, give you a boost for this being like your turf. You spent a lot of time back here. You know, again, you don't have to work too hard for this. You kind of know what's up. And we are currently sitting, I believe, at 2 and 3 in my favor. I'm not going to spend anything on this.
Okay. I'm not going to spend anything either because I think this is more like just her gut instinct of what she does instantly and is not a calculated move.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, I like that. I think that makes sense for her.
All right. Rolling dice. 4 advantages, 2 failures.
Oh shit.
Okay. That is
Too much chaos.
Chaos. All right, that is super strange, but I kind of dig it. Okay, so Del, I'm going to say that Morgan, as Morgan begins to climb, let's just fully lean on these heavy bolter rounds because I feel like they're a nightmare. A lucky shot like blasts through the door behind you and blows the legs off the side of the shelves you're climbing. So I think as you're starting to go up, it's just like, round comes in, blows just a crater in the floor, blows off the legs and kind of like a big chunk of the thing. And immediately you're kind of swung out and around. It comes clattering down. It's a big mess. With your advantage, I'll say you don't get pinned under it. Instead gets caught on another shelf. So it's one of those awkward, like, it doesn't do the full hilarious domino thing from the Mummy. It just does a partial one of those, crunches into it, creates kind of an awkward, I don't know, triangle for you to kind of
ramp almost.
Yeah, almost of shelving. So it's a mess. You can pop up through it, you can slide up behind it, but with your advantage, you don't get pinned under it. That said, one of the 2 guys who's hosing the door with shots does see you. Like he fully eyes you. But he's still he's blind firing right now. So I'm going to have to play that out. And then based on that roll, I'll see if he turns and actually confronts you. This is going to be a really messy combat. So just like buckle up, buckaroos.
Close quarters in a bar.
With like two different parties with complete, like 4 different parties with completely different agendas. Yeah, it's going to be a mess.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Morgan, we're going to leave you there alive, but under some shelving. Rut-row. Eli, where we last left you, you'd managed to hit the deck as the fire opened up. You watched passively as your best customers were completely obliterated, and you
tactically
obliterated, and you booted poor Dorbus Horbus in the face as you scampered away. So you're currently making your escape.
Oh yeah, he was like doing like a take me with you.
Yeah, he wanted your help because he trusts you. And that was his mistake. So you crunched his nose, kicked him in the face, left him to die, and now you're crawling towards the back room. Is there anything are you trying to take any of these guys out, or is it literally just like does not want?
Nope, it's literally just like get out. This is not my fight. Other people are fighting. I don't need to be involved. I don't really care about this bar. Let's just save my own ass and Morgan along the way.
Admittedly, you did drink the top shelf stuff like a long time ago, so there's nothing left worth saving.
Yeah, great. And I was collecting also my other
you get your weapons along the way. Yeah, absolutely.
All that shit.
So I think we'll say, Laura, that your go bag is actually stashed once you get out of the bar, just behind the when you enter the back room where Morgan is and where this fight is happening, just kind of tucked behind a shelf immediately off that door. So if you had to get back, you could, but if someone was looting the bar, they wouldn't immediately see it. So you have access to all your stuff. It is in like I think we'll say probably like a professional, I'm thinking assassins.
It's one of those black, thick canvas bags. You can quietly unzip. That's
amazing. Yeah, great. So you slide that out just in time. Your eyes are adjusting to the darkness back here. Just in time to see the shelving unit come down, the door come flying in, blast a bunch of canned goods into your face as two clowns start shooting. And then you see Morgan and the shelf come down. What do you do?
Where am I in relation to where shots are being fired?
So they are.
And is Morgan in is there a line of fire between Morgan and myself?
No, Morgan's luckily by having fallen off the shelf. So basically, the way to think of this room is if you think of a large rectangular kind of pantry, kind of bar back room. Morgan has fallen to your left. Under some shelves. Ahead of you are kind of 3 racks of just various glassware, that sort of thing, canned goods. Off to the right are the kind of big kegs, which of course are 40K kegs, so they're heavy metal and have skulls, but are also in bad disrepair. They would have been very expensive when Canehurst imported them, but now neither of you has done the work to keep them up, and no one out front seemed to care, so fuck it. So you've got kegs over there, and as with all these sort of back rooms, it's there's enough room for you to walk between these shelves, and the shelves aren't hard backed. They're those metal wire shelves, so you can see through them. But you don't have a lot of mobility. It's close to your shoulders. That said, Morgan's off to your left under the thing, which means not only is she not in your direct line to these two guys who are kind of ahead to the right. Yep. But she's also low. So if you just want to open up on this room, Morgan is well and truly safe, and Toby's up high, so he's fine.
I think what I'll do then is probably crouch low with Morgan. And while everyone else while they're distracted, I have an opportunity to get Morgan up because she is an asset. I don't want to just leave her and take the action myself to fight.
Okay.
So I will get low, kind of lift the shelving unit off her so she can scramble out.
Okay, I like that a lot. let's go with athletics and brawn.
Yep.
I'm going to say this is difficulty 2, just because it's heavy and awkward and kind of like stuck in the shelf beside it.
Mm-hmm.
Could give you a boost for your body kind of feeling like a bag of trash right now, because you already feel rough. So like overextending yourself to do this isn't really going to hurt any more than you're already hurting. I'm going to give you a setback for chaos of just the heavy bolter rounds. Luckily, like the wall behind you is hard enough that they're not just immediately pulping the wall, which is a viable concern. And I think that's it from me. Yeah, I think that's it from me. Story points are 2 and 3 in your favor. I don't. Cool. Again, I don't feel like this is.
I'm just gonna roll, baby.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
4 successes, 3 advantages, 1 triumph. I swear, I'm rolling what you told me. I swear.
Okay.
God damn.
I'm keeping a log of this if you need to see it later. But
I do. Thank you. I was going to ask you to repeat so I
Show
can
your
write it
work
down.
after the game.
Suffice to say, the shelf comes up, but I'm curious to find out what happens before it flips onto these 2 assholes who are firing through the door, which is what will happen as a result of your triumph momentarily. Attikus, you've just punched through. You learned the secret knock a long time ago. It's whatever the hell you want it to be.
It's just the one knock. Yeah,
it's good. You're the one who knocks. So you've powed the door open, and immediately come under fire. So because would you have had your shield up as you punch, or was it literally just punch?
Yeah, okay. If I'm breaching a door to a place I don't know about, while we're being chased by extremists, I'm going to be careful about where we go.
I mean, it's a stretch, but I'll buy it, I guess. Oh no, the guy who's good at breaching things knows how to breach. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so in that case, you've got your shield up, which means you're in good shape. Also, these guys are firing at a terrible angle. Like, they're not standing directly in the door opening fire. They're standing kind of 45 degrees off the door, firing through. So if you're going in shield up and kind of with a mind to breach, I'm inclined to say... So going to make you roll, just because this is a world of darkness and heresy and night.
They're not going to roll on me. I'm going to roll to like save, so to speak.
Yeah, I guess I could roll on you. I'm just so used to not rolling dice in this game. I forget I can. All right, great. Let's. So I'm going to open up. What is your defense there, buddy? With the shield,
4.
All right.
Hey, shields.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys firing haphazardly are in such good shape. This is going to go so well for them. Defensive 4. Okay, so that's 4 setback for me.
Amazing.
The riot shield. It's no power shield, but it's a riot shield.
Okay. All right. So I've got 2 green, 1 yellow, 3 purple, 4 setback, no boost because they turned and are firing randomly.
Nice.
I'm going to spend a story point to upgrade one of my dice.
Cool.
Which brings us to 3 and 2 in favor of you. Unless anyone else wants to... I have to give them a chaos dice for heavy bolter rounds ripping up a room. It'd be unfair if that only affects the heroes.
One-sided chaos.
Oh, like challenge die?
Yeah.
Okay.
1 extra setback for me. Live by the sword, die by the sword, right? Okay, I think that's it. Let's see how they do. 1 success, 1 threat. Fascinating.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the good news is, Tyler, I believe with your armor that will likely
my
be
soak is 9, so I hope it is enough.
Yeah, that's soak of 9.
Attikus.
Man, I'd love to say that these guys who washed out of the Inquisition were like really well armed, but it will not surprise you to know they are a little underwhelming. Let me see though, just in case I can maybe hurt you ever so slightly.
Does it got any pierce and it's base +1?
It does not.
Then,
yeah, it's just
buddies.
a straight up las carbine.
You
so
tried.
got 6.
So cute.
It does 1, It's got auto fire. So yeah, the what does manage to hit you, Attikus, just like immediately deflects off the shield. You can take a boost moving forward for the threat that I pulled, or whoever rolls next can take that. So as you kind of like storm through the door, the good news is I feel like you're not going to need it for this particular moment, because Eli fucking Sharpe, with the rage of someone who's had to pull people out from under bulkheads and stuff, you flip it up. Laura, what does Eli flipping this shelf look like? Like what does the scene look like?
For a moment he looks unsteady, but as he kind of gets he kind of pumps himself in that extra burst of adrenaline from both the stim. It's adrenaline just coursing through his body, and he just kind of roars and but just before he lifts it up, he just says, "Get up, girl!" and just throws the thing.
So the two redacted firing into the door. One of them's like, "Hey, look, enemies!" And they both turn just as this thing comes, just like Hulk's, like the Hulk flipped it. Just this thing swings back over, crushes both of them into the wall. Their auto firing glass carbines go off in like a big way, hitting nothing, but looking so cool.
Yeah.
Well, it happens. And with that, Morgan, Eli, and Toby, you're able to make a rush for the door. However, you're almost...
I forgot who Toby was for a second. Like, all right, Toby Hawk.
Toby.
Never forget. Hashtag don't forget about Toby. Attikus storms in. Valentyne, would you be right behind him, do you think? Or you're in a bit of an odd position here because you're being pursued, but also...
If Attikus was advancing into the room, he would follow, because Attikus wouldn't advance if there was overwhelming firepower. But he used him like a human shield. Like, it's very much stay on the SWAT guy's shoulder.
The one hand on the shoulder VIP thing. Cool. Okay, so Attikus, I assume you kind of... Would you stop in the doorway, or would you, like, run in as the fire hits your shield?
It would be stopping as rounds hit me to assess the situation, but I begin to he would move in to crush whatever's shooting at him, and if it's been crushed, he's going to see if the crusher needs to be crushed, whatever that is.
Fair enough. So I think it's safe to say that like the guy closest to you is still up when you walk in, so just give him the old U.S. agent shield.
Yeah. A love tap on the noggin from a power fist.
Yep, sure. There you go.
Valentyne will headshot the next one who's pinned by the shelf. Just
great. So,
straight up execution. And then look into the room and say, "We're looking for Morgan Rhalls and Eli Sharpe, and then we'd like to get out of here."
And immediately Gibson says, "Pardon me, Lord Inquisitor, but this is the safe house of which I spoke. My compatriots are sieging it right now, and soon we shall win the day."
Excellent, but I would like to not be shot by them, and most of all, I would like to make sure... Please tell me that you two are Morgan Rhalls and Eli Sharpe, or this is tremendously awkward.
And Eli levels his combat shotgun in Valentyne's face and says, "Who in the Emperor's name is asking?"
"I'm Inquisitor
Attikus.
Lucius Valentyne. This is Colonel Attikus. You should lower that weapon, and then we can all leave this room together in the Emperor's service, or some of us will leave it in pieces."
Yes, Attikus is very close now. Attikus is not respecting the personal space of some people in this room.
And Valentyne has like what is obviously inquisitorial like insignia on him.
Yeah,
Am I
he's got the
noticing, like, his
inquisitorial
cap?
insignia is on. Like he's in a. So Valentyne, just as like a recap, is in
Yeah.
a full commissar's uniform with the silver breastplate. Only he's wearing a rosette over it. He has an active refractor field, so about 6 to 8 inches out from his whole body is just a glittering field. And he does have the Inquisition symbol at the top of his cap because he was trained as a commissar and then joined the Inquisition, so he wears a little bit of both. So it's all very Aquila with inquisitorial subtlety, but the rosette is fully on display.
So Eli, he's holding the shotgun and just does kind of like a once over of Valentyne, and then just swings the shotgun up and over his back and be like, 5 bloody years. 5. And he just starts trudging out the doors like, you 5.
And Valentyne will just grab him on the shoulder
years.
and just be like, yes, 5 years. I'm sure it's been very bad. There's an army of Redacted out there. Also, the other way is apparently a heavy bolter. Get the shotgun back out. You, Morgan, you seem to be the smarter one of the two of you. How do we get out of here without dying?
You can tell that easily, can you? All right, follow me. There's an exit that they all came from. And Bird goes overhead, and she's going to walk towards that extra exit.
And Gibson kind of slows his pace, and he's like looking back towards the front room. And he just kind of says, "But pardon me, Lord Inquisitor, new friends. But my compatriots, they are laying siege, and surely if we join our arms..." At which point a heavy bolter round takes him in the chest, and just you always wanted to paint this place, and he saved you the time, because now Gibson Offenlander is just a mosaic of
Jackson
bits.
Pollock painting.
Yeah, like a Jackson Pollock painting of guts and spray and viscera all over the backs of the walls.
I'm imagining the whole party getting sprayed except Valentyne because it hits his refractor field and goes down. So just everyone's red except him.
Yeah, there's just like shapes of all of you on the back wall. You left an impression, is I think what I'm getting at. And
Eli under his breath, like, typical Inquisition, not getting their own hands dirty.
And do you all jump down the chute?
Oh yeah, the moment Morgan goes, Valentyne's in.
Yeah. He's
Attikus
gone.
goes.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, Eli, more walking, less quibbling.
Just teeth grinding.
And the quibbling continues as you, the four of you and Kotsgar leap down into the delivery shaft. So you're immediately like, this isn't a pleasant, wide space. This is where the beer gets delivered, and the Amersec and the Vicodin and everything else you sell. So this is almost like, you can think of it almost like a bootlegger's tunnel. Like it's just a small, cramped, you can't quite stand up. Attikus, you're a short guy though, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so Attikus is fine. But everybody
He's wide,
else
though, like
yeah. I mean, like your head is fine, but you have to do the side shimmy walk. Just reeks of soil and kind of stale booze. You can kind of like you're crunching on broken glass underfoot as you make your way out. There's also a lot of dirt, and Morgan, I think, as the person most familiar with kind of the layout of everything and who led everyone down here. Sure enough, as Toby ascertained earlier, the wall of the delivery chute has been bored out. And so there's still there's an exit to the street ahead of you, which will take you back out into the alleyway that Valentyne and Vis just came through, a little bit further down that alleyway, but out there. Or there's the route that's been borne in by the Redacted. Where do you want to go?
Well, we know it's in the street mostly, so I think she would send Toby out first. Mm-hmm. And let him go towards the new exit, see if there's more people there or not, kind of keep him high, scout him out, and she would put her arm out and be like, let me momentarily check here.
Okay. So just to make 100% clear that we're on the same page, these are very like super tight confines, and the hole that's been borne in is also tight confines. Like there's not a lot of vertical space for Toby. So he can be up top, but he's not like soaring above anything.
Right, yeah.
He can slip in and up if there's vertical space, but he's going to be very exposed for a moment. You're cool with that?
Okay. Yes.
Right. Okay. So are you trying to do this stealthily with Toby, or is it just like go fast, fly?
No, I think it's stealthy because it's just he has the eagle eyes. It's more just a scout, and that's what I'm saying. He's trying to stay into dark edges where he's going to be stealthier.
I gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, let's go with stealth then, using Toby's stats.
All right, and the difficulty?
Before I do difficulty, I just want to see on weigh-ins. Valentyne, is there anything you'd be doing to assist with this? Now, obviously, you don't really know about the robot bird, but I think as you see Morgan like sending it, I just know like with your auspice and other things, you tend to like tag in on stuff like this.
Yeah, I think he would be doing the close range scanning because his auspex can cover some like pretty decent scan distances. Let me just find the exact rules for it. Yeah, so it gives like 2 boosts to perception checks, and it can also reveal things beyond sight, but it also looks through walls 50 centimeters thick. Anything less than 50 centimeters he can scan. So if he can scan down the tunnel to at least see if this weird robot bird she's going to unleash is going to like run into a person,
you
would like to
can.
know.
Yeah. And it doesn't specifically say it like any of that stuff, but Toby also has an inbuilt auspex. The bird has one in it too.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. So Ryan, why don't we roll with yours?
Great. So what's my difficulty, Tom?
All right. So I think for the scan, you're in good shape and you're piggybacking off of Toby. So I'm going to say difficulty 2.
Okay.
You're in the tunnel, so I'm going to give you a setback just for bad reception. It's shitty down here. No chaos dice this time because the chaos is up there. You're down here. And then I will give you a boost for being able to piggyback off of Toby as well.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just roll it because Valentyne doesn't treasure this bird, if that makes sense. It is a functional tool to him, but he does not know it has any emotional significance.
I mean, dude, I've seen what you do with your party members who we know have emotional significance. Like, it's fine.
Fair.
That is 2 successes and 2 advantage.
Okay, amazing.
Nice.
So immediately you get a ping for kind of a large metallic object of some sort that you can kind of... the auspice is, in my head at least, it's always operated a bit like the alien like sonar piece, right? So you get like a large signature and then a smaller blip just behind it that seems to be kind of darting back and forth slightly.
All right, I'm getting a large metallic return and then a smaller one. Are either of them life signs, Tom?
Yes.
Or are they both?
One is not. The large one is not. The smaller one, you are getting life signs. You're getting elevated pulse, and what sounds. I mean, I don't think the auspice picks up sound necessarily, other than like maybe like sound bouncing off things.
Yeah, it's not like a microphone. I don't think it'd pick up. Although, like Valentine's got mechanical ears, so if the auspice is hearing it, he'd be hearing it.
Yeah, so I would say the auspice doesn't pick up like the sound necessarily, but you are getting readings that there is sound occurring from beyond the space. You can't pick up what it is, but it's like registering, elevated heart rate and.
All right, so I'm getting 1 life sign and a large metallic presence, which makes me think we're dealing with a turret of some kind, or some kind of large gun or weapon aimed directly into the tunnel. Can your bird survive that kind of firepower?
Nothing direct and long-standing, no. So we could take our chances with outside.
If we send the bird backwards to go out the door that we blew in, and the bird goes up and over, could it perhaps make a move that we could time so it could rush whoever's on the cannon and we could rush out?
That is very possible, yes.
All right, everyone else take a knee. It's time for the bird to do its thing.
All right. So, Del, let's go ahead with stealth for Dear Sweet Toby.
All
who
right.
is going to pop out into the street, loop around to the adjacent building that they drilled in through. I think, just because I think it's quaint in a 40K universe, we're going to say this is a bike repair shop. But like in a weird hellscape hive land. So, the bikes are kind of metal as hell, but bike repair shop.
All right. So stealth and the difficulty.
Because there are pursuing people out in the alley and there are presumably people in the bike shop basement, I'm going to give you a difficulty of 4.
Okay.
And I'm going to spend a story point to spike one of those, bringing us to 1 and 4 in your favor.
All right. And then I'll spend a story point also, and it's basically a straight roll at this point.
But yeah, we'll spend that story point because none of them are actually hunting a robot bird.
Yeah.
This is true. Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Not on their bingo sheet for the day.
All right. I don't think there's anything else I can do.
Del, I'll give you a boost for Valentine's auspice, picking up stuff.
Helping
you have
feed
a rough sense of where things are. It's not a complete, like, go out there and find something. It's like, here's,
All right. Let's see how this boy do. Oh, my baby boy. 2 successes, 1 advantage, 1 triumph.
I love reading the results out in the voice.
Morgan just says it to the air.
You know what that means. You've used Auspix before, yes.
Yes, I think in specific terms. It's called Genesys way of thinking.
I think what we're
Yes.
learning is that Toby has Genesys programming, so when Toby achieves a mission, it's actually related
Yeah.
back in these terms.
Yeah.
Like a little feed out. It's got all the little colored dice inside of her
Love it.
brain showing up.
Yeah, it's a real bummer they discontinued the Toby system because they lost the license to Toby. That was a real bummer. All right, so damn, that is a lot of wins.
It was the exact same roll except for that boost. So
All right, so Morgan, tell me what the majestic what does Toby doing his thing look like?
yeah, Toby. I'm imagining that Toby can be pretty sneaky because he is a big metal bird, but he's kind of old, and I think he's had multiple coats of paint, so he's got a little bit of like matte black kind of patches on him and stuff like that. So I think he just swoops through. It's like a bullet going by and then back around. So when he's like against the night sky, it's just like a black silhouette. And as he comes back around and down, Morgan would also know the exact moment that he's coming in, that he would swoop in on the other side and see everything.
Amazing. So yeah, I was thinking as you were describing that of a little bit of the like the bat or the pterodactyl like little claw hangs, where like if you need to, just kind of like digging the claws into a wall and just being a shadow. So Toby has no difficulty with this. The redacted troops out in the back come like a couple of them are rushing, but they're doing basically what Attikus did. They're like doing a breach and clear on the door, not being sure exactly what's going on, knowing that there's action happening in there, not really being sure the lay of the land, but like panicking and kind of running around. So Toby swings out, as you mentioned, blow against the night sky, in through one of the shattered windows of the bike shop, over the body of the dead owner, down the stairs into the basement that is like set up almost like an excavation site, like just there's those big work lamps with the metal grid on them. Everything is wired terribly into generators and other things. And as Toby comes swooping in, his scanners pick up just like a large portly bald man who's taken off his redacted cowl and is just like red-faced from kind of like clearly having a hard time breathing through this thing down here, manning a giant drill. And he's just standing there going like, oh, okay. All right, Mateo, you got this. If anyone comes through here, you give them the drill. You gotta give them the drill. I should have brought. I really should have brought. Some refreshments. It is hotter down here than I thought. Okay. You got this, Mateo. You got this. What does Toby do to Mateo?
Toby just comes in and swoops down, and at the last minute, it's probably extra spooky because he has tiny little red glowing eyes. So in the blackness, and his big grapple claws come out, and they're shocky grapple claws. So I think it just grabs onto his face and shocks, and probably just electrocutes everything in the vicinity.
My God.
So Mateo just like turns, and it's like when Bruce Wayne has his nightmares of the bat, just like red glowing eyes,
Gazing him in the face. Yeah.
and he just manages to go Necrons before you the talons like pull into him, start electrocuting him. He falls back. The drill gets turned on through the electricity surging through the room. As the lights begin to blow, his body gets swept up in the drill and just like
Oh no!
just swung around and eviscerated, spraying the space. As all of the fixtures burn out, plunging the room into darkness, except for the two red glowing eyes of Toby. Which, alongside the squishy footsteps of his grim work, are what greet the party as you make your way into the bottom of the abandoned bike shop. from a tattered frame stepped on by Attikus Vis. You know, a lot of people say we're crazy for opening a bike shop, you know, so far from Hearthold, but to them I say, if the people can't move, the people can't learn. And if the people can't learn, this will always be a hive of scum and villainy. Together, we'll make something better. Matty Matt's Bike Shop, opening day. Attikus, you hear something crunch under your foot. It's a real pain in the ass because you're all trying to move quietly, but you know there's enough stuff underfoot down here that it's almost harder not to step in things. Also, it's dark. You're either stepping on loud things or squishy things, having just absolutely shredded the eponymous Matty Matt, owner of the bike shop, who. You don't know any of this. This is just context that will never come up because you didn't interrogate him. He got killed by a drill. You're stepping all over. He is now literally and figuratively a mat of gore, but also his possessions and stuff are all broken down here because everything blew up due to a demonic robot bird. So, you know, we're all having a time. We're all having a time down here. You've made your way into the basement of Matty Matt's bike shop. The space is, again, caked with gore. It's fairly industrial down here now. Clearly, they've been working down here for a while. Valentyne, I think you're probably the only one. No one else has a way of seeing in a perfectly dark space, right?
Yes.
I can hold my breath.
I mean, you might want to. A man burst not that long ago down here. Morgan, you can see in the dark?
Yes, so Morgan has contact lenses that let her see in the dark, and also Toby has dark vision and can see perfectly in the dark. So
amazing.
It's the double feed.
Nice.
Cool. So Valentyne and Morgan, you both get the clearest vision of what's going on down here. Clearly, this is an operation that's been down here for a while. This wasn't a last minute ditch effort. This was clearly. Which makes sense given, you know, how deep the drill had to bore through the wall to get through. But yeah, looking around, this looks like an operation that's been underway for some time. And honestly, Morgan, you're a little irked to notice that they basically, you get the sense that this was always going to be their bolt hole, and all they had to do was just like pierce the last inch of wall to give them a clearance. So you've honestly been going back and forth. And like you noticed there were some weird cracks in the wall, but you just assumed it was like a shoddy foundation. It's just a fucking frustrating thing to know that these clowns had like always been ready to burst into your bar.
Yeah, I think it's a frustration, but it's also like I knew I felt many vibrations. I just assumed it was shitty city.
And honestly, sometimes it was.
To be honest, having overheard what you're saying, you're still right. This is not the best city. We do need to get out of it.
And he's like steering Attikus away from walking into spiky things and Coscar at the same time, just like because Valentyne could fucking see.
And he's like, first of all, Morgan, you're tremendously talented. Love the bird. I was originally just here for information. I very much want to hire you for other reasons now, but we need to get back to the Inquisitorial stronghold to get all of us out of this war zone.
Yes.
Do you know a way of effective transport that would be faster than walking?
There is no effective or safe transport down here. So, unless you have another way, I just sneak around. Most we do not leave this place, but now obviously the bar is nothing, probably.
Eli, you step on something that makes an obnoxiously loud ringing noise.
What in the name of the golden... And what do I see?
You seem to have stepped on a pair of handlebars and a bell.
I bend down. I pick up... is it a full bike?
No. You're in the basement. The good stuff's upstairs. It's just shitty parts down here.
I hold it up. I'm like, well, if we look around, maybe there's one of these pieces of shit left.
You're joking, Eli. You're joking.
It's part of a... Is there a 40K term for bicycle?
It's a cycle.
Are you asking
involving
me?
two wheels.
I don't know what they call.
Laura's asking the group.
I don't know what they call this year's model. I can't help you.
Yeah, I mean, again, it from my understanding of the Eisenhorn books, which are really the only place other than codexes that I learned my 40k shit. Yeah, there would absolutely be bikes on various planets. There's obviously motorcycles, like those exist everywhere. But if you think about all of the planets that don't have access to great technology, like absolutely there are bicycles kicking around. Also, like Eli and Morgan, this place has been like, it's been behind, it's a store that's behind the bars. Like, you know, it's there. You've never seen a single customer in there, and you've never seen someone ride a bike because they would immediately get mugged and murdered. But you've seen them. They're not a completely foreign concept. And I think, honestly, if you didn't know what a bicycle was, it'd be a pretty quick thing to go like, oh, it's a motorcycle without an engine. Like, I can get behind that.
It's a self-propelled, dual-wheeled transportation device.
Excellent. We will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The bird doesn't need a bike right now. 5 of them. 5 is good. 5 is good. Bird can fly.
I have a quick question about Toby because I realized I was trying to picture this in my head. Does Toby just flap, or does Toby have like a little Batman turbine in his butt that helps him go fast? Or both?
Yeah. I, every time I think about Toby, I think about there's like this meme video of a person who put a rocket engine on a lawnmower and it just kind of goes through the sky like. So I think he uses the wings to glide around, but he has like an engine in the bird.
An afterburner, if it will.
Yes.
Right. Ooh.
All right, so everyone, we're going to need to collect these bicycles, and then we're going to need to hit the road. Morgan, you appear to know this neighborhood better than anyone else, so we're going to have to ask you to take lead.
Kotskar's lip just draws into a thin line behind you.
Kostkar, once we get closer to the Inquisitorial Fortress, we'll obviously have to pass back to you, because you admitted you did not know this neighborhood as well as elsewhere.
She grows 3 inches, puffs out her chest, and nods as, of course, Lord Inquisitor.
Fabulous.
Right.
Sir, may I have a word in private?
Yes.
And then Valentyne will take him back over by the drill that I think they probably wedged into the hole. Just
Oh,
to
yeah,
try to
that makes
make
sense.
some
Yeah,
sort of
totally.
barrier. Yeah.
What is it, Colonel?
I don't know how to ride a bike, sir.
Well,
I've never driven something what hasn't got its own motor.
well,
I hardly ever drive anything. I get driven places and kill things.
we'll have to see what's upstairs. They may have what they call a tricycle, which has an additional third wheel that assists with balance, or
3 wheels? Oh, more.
well, let me
Attikus
describe.
doesn't get how it works.
There's also a possibility of a bicycle with with 4 wheels, where they put training wheels on the back to balance. So we'll see what's upstairs. Otherwise, worst case scenario, Eli looks very strong, so we can have you ride on the back of Eli's bike.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine then. As long as I can ride something, then that's fine.
Yes, we'll sort this out. You know I won't leave you behind.
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
All right, let's go upstairs. Let's find bikes. If anyone sees a tricycle or something with training wheels, please flag that for my colonel here. Otherwise, Eli, he's riding with you.
Oh, and Eli just launches into the principles of like the gyroscopic effect and why like it's really easy to just like propel the wheels. You'll stay up. It's fine. Like
Valentyne puts a hand on Atticus's shoulder and he leans
And he's like, you don't need to understand the math. I don't either. Secretly, I don't think he does.
Sounds like he's bragging.
Morgan's gonna look for one of those bikes that has 2 seats. That's just longer
A
with the
tandem
extra
bike.
seat.
Tandem
A
bike?
tandem bike. Looking for that.
All right. So I've been thinking about this as you've been describing this dilemma. After my heart finished melting and then regrowing 3 times the size it was previously at that adorable scene, I've been thinking about this. I think what I want is I think I need a roll to see what we find in the bike shop. Because obviously Matty Matt had some secret doings afoot, which means he probably hasn't been keeping up on his bicycle maintenance. So I think if Morgan, you said you're doing it, so I think we're going to say you're doing it. Also, Valentyne kind of ordered everyone to do it, so I think he's helping but not doing necessarily.
Valentyne's watching the windows. He's probably the most perception-y of the party, so he's going to watch for hostile actors while they do that shit.
Yeah, right. And
And Eli really doesn't want to carry Attikus around, so I have a talent called Emperor's Blessing, and once per session I can add 2 boosts to anyone's skill check. So I'd like to give that. I'd like to give that to Morgan for this.
that's spectacular. So I think we'll assume that the way that actually plays, Eli, is you're doing, for lack of a better term, the angry dad looks for something, where you're just like sweeping boxes off walls and like turning things upside down.
100%.
Yep. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. So Morgan, I'm gonna give you an option on this one because that's how I do. You can either go with perception,
Mm-hmm.
or you can go with streetwise.
Well, they are exactly the same.
Let's call it
So
streetwise.
my cunning perceptive streetwiseness is what I will use in this role.
Yeah, let's see. Hang on. Let me just
I
see what
see
page
you're
of the
from the
Genesys book.
streets.
Yeah, I was going to say, roll to see the streets.
My God, these streets have no names. Where these streets have no names.
What is the difficulty?
Difficulty. So you're looking for some specific stuff. You did mention a tandem bicycle, which I could not find in the city I live in a non-40K Hellscape universe. So I'm gonna go ahead and say,
Yeah, and everyone in 40K is so cooperative too.
yeah, they love that shit.
Aw. That's why it's a conversation piece. It's like
To be clear, regular people in 40K are fine. We don't tell stories about them. There's a bunch of people just literally running farms and like
Well,
going
I
into new
wanna
data
read that
entry. They
book.
do nice.
Dear diary. Today I fed the cows.
Yeah.
It's just
The
like
rocks were so hungry today. I'm going to miss little Stevie when he grows up to be meat.
honestly, people don't talk about this stuff. Angela's Ashes is set in the 40K universe. Like it doesn't come up because Space Marines don't fucking show up. But like, trust me, as long as there's no follow-up questions.
Saint Angelus's ashes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so
That's where the Evangelion Crusade came from. It started in Ireland.
all right, so Morgan, we're in terms of difficulty. I'm gonna go ahead and say 3. I think it is a bike shop, so there's stuff around. It'd be weird if this was impossible. I will not surprise you to know I'm not going to burn a story point on whether or not you find bikes.
Yes.
I'm going to give you.
so ridiculous.
So you get 2 boosts from Eli's.
Laura's 2 boosts.
Yep. From his mad scouring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Going to give you another boost for Toby. I feel like
yay.
you're looking with 2 sets of eyes or 4 completely different eyes.
Correct.
6 if you count your contact lenses, like kids used to yell at people on the playground.
Yes.
So you got some good eyes on stuff. Yeah, I think that's it for that.
Okay.
Unless anyone
And I'm
wants
gonna
to argue
let
for
no
anything.
story point for me either, because in Morgan's mind, not her funeral, not her problem. If we don't, we'll all try, but
She knows how to ride a bike.
yeah,
Not her
good
problem.
luck.
She knows how to run away while other people fail to ride bikes. Is I think
The zombie tactic, Okay, so here we go. Whew, just squeaked by. 1 success, 4 advantages.
Mm.
I mean, you should have had Toby do it based on the way.
Honest,
know.
that's what I'm saying. My stats are better, but Toby's lucky.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've got bad news for Eli, but good news for the listening audience. You do not find a tandem bicycle in the grim darkness of the future, where there are only individual bikes. You find parts. I think with 1 success, like you find enough bikes for all of for like basically you have enough bikes for the bad plan.
Mhm.
If you want to spend some time, you could tool up a bike to have training wheels to help Attikus ride his own bike, but you'll have to like spend some time putting that together.
We have no time for this shit.
Well, Eli, you look strong. Prove me right. Everyone else onto a bike. Attikus, you ride with Eli. Let's do this.
All right. So as Valentyne and Morgan and Kotzker mount up their bikes, Attikus and Eli, how do you want to do this?
So,
right.
do I get on first, or
No,
is
so
it?
we see these two little spokes that are coming out of the front wheel. You put your feet on that. So throw your leg over. You're gonna be in front of the seat. I'm gonna be on the seat.
Right.
You're gonna be standing on the wheels, but in front of me because you're
Right.
short, so I can look over you.
Oh, well. Oh, all right. Here I go.
I'll
Okay.
kind of try and climb on, and
Yeah, I'm going to need coordination
Ah.
and agility from you there, Attikus.
you got it. Best skill I've got in the game.
And Eli,
Jesus
what is your
Christ.
brawn?
My brawn is 5.
Brawn is 5. Okay. So I'm going to say difficulty of 2, and you can take 3 boost from Eli's brawn as Eli holds this bike steady for you to try and mount.
Excellent. I am going to roll. I have 2 green.
There are story points available.
2 successes. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
1 for each foot.
Okay. So improbably, Attikus, you get up on there. Here's what I need to know before we describe kind of you're riding it. What are you doing with the arm?
The arm is in constant motion, compensating as it leans one way and then the other. So his hand is out in front of him, and it's just constantly he's basically just waving at no one, but erratically and in sometimes small movements, sometimes big swings to the other side.
Just keep still. I will do the balancing. Your job is to not move.
I don't think you understand
Every
quite how
tiny
heavy
movement
this is.
makes this so much more difficult.
Then so Attikus is like, all right, fine. And he'll just freeze with his arm on one side of his body.
All right, Eli, I need a
Jesus Christ.
I think at this point it's let's go coordination agility. You've said you can keep it steady. How steady can you keep this? Attikus, what is your brawn?
My brawn is 6.
6.
It is illegal.
Yeah, well, you know how hard and fast I stick by the homebrew rule set that we've been using this whole time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say this is a difficulty of 4.
Hot
Get
damn.
2 setback. I'm doing the same rules I did for your previous roll of keeping them up, but that arm is heavy and bad. And you've never ridden a bike with, a motorcycle's worth of weight on the front, or however the fuck much a power fist is.
Why did I waste that Emperor's blessing?
Well, that's a good question, Eli. That's one to grow on. I'm gonna say I'm gonna give you a boost for tenacious grit. Eli is convinced he can do this. He is not gonna let this happen. Otherwise, I there's not much else on my end.
I'm spending a story point just for desperation for this to be over with.
Yep.
I just want to get there so freaking fast.
2 big, strong guys on one
All right. Let's just roll, see what happens. Ugh.
Circus, old-timey circus strongmen.
Oh!
1 threat is the result.
You fuck this up.
Attikus threatens.
Okay, so
Only
Eli,
person who can fuck this up is you.
I'm imagining this is just full on I think the bike is slightly too small for both of you as well, so there's just some knees up and arms up, and you're tottering like crazy, but through just sheer anger, you manage to keep it's not a steady ride. If he was waving his arm back and forth to stabilize, this would be so much easier. But you'll be good goddamned if you're going to change your mind. So it's just Valentyne, Costco, Morgan, and then just wobble train, kind of rolling along the middle.
I am sworn to protect the Inquisitor. Pedal faster, Eli.
Like he's
If something happens to
literally
him-
gritting his teeth together because he's not sure what will come out.
If something happens to him and I can't help him because I'm wobbling back and forth back here with you.
I swear, the Emperor protects. The Emperor protects. Like,
Morgan, you and Valentyne are about 1.5 meters up ahead, having a great ride. These bikes are actually really good. What are Valentyne? I assume you're still on the lookout.
Yes, Valentyne would be watching, but he would also be talking. So I understand that there was a psyker who was once part of your party who had visions about the Emperor being torn from the throne. Tell me about this psyker.
I understand you want information, but it is imperative that I focus. Otherwise, as like shots are ringing out above us at a random times, it's not the time for talking.
Well, I mean, it's very much the time for talking, because if you die and Eli dies, then I have nothing and the Emperor dies. So prioritizing conversation moves up a little bit.
Deepest sigh of, all right, gonna have to turn off half of her brain to watch through Toby and drive them and have to talk to this man. So it's like she tries to click into the other. Oh, all right, I see you liking to talk, all right. Fine, what psyker are you looking for? So many psychers down here in the hive. They're left and right everywhere. What are you specifically looking for?
So Morgan, are you purposefully trying to keep him talking long enough that you survive, or are you? Because I have the character information that you as a player don't have, so I'm happy to step in if you're not trying to obfuscate. That's a word, right? If you're not. Thank you. That's the one. What Tyler said, if you're not trying to the truth, then happy to let this play out. Or if you would tell him what he needs to know so that he'll bring you on board, I'm happy to step in with that.
I think she's just trying to let him talk more because it really is like, I have no concentration for this, but if he needs to be babysat, I will babysit him for the time being.
The psyker who served alongside you and Inquisitor Canehurst. Those are the psykers I need. I don't care about the city.
The psyker that we served with Canehurst. Everyone else from Canehurst is dead. You know this, right?
I'm asking about the psyker. I feel like my questions are very direct and you're moving around them, and I don't care for it.
Well, I don't care for having instant conversation while we are about to die. I can get you more information, but I'm not going to be able to tell you right now.
It is very interesting that you are trying to negotiate with the voice of the Emperor. So brave, so bold, so questionable on the scale of things. We did just pull you out of a bar where you were being ambushed and fired at with a heavy bolter, and now you have 3 specialists with you on a way off-world. I don't understand how this is worse for you than it was 3 minutes ago.
3 minutes ago, I could hunker down and hide, and now we are out in the open on bicycles. Once we are on inquisitorial ground, then I will answer all of your questions, and I will play nice with you.
Interesting. This is going to be a tense relationship between the two of us. I hope you turn out to be as loyal as I've heard.
I can hear them talking, Eli. Hurry up.
Oh yes, so very loyal. Such a loyal inquisitorial agent that is me and Eli, and you will see it soon enough.
He's already started parking back. He's done with this lady. She's full of shit.
At that moment, you hear just a massive explosion in the distance behind you as the Klon wing goes up in a ball of flame. You don't have to have a reaction to it. It's just what happens.
Eli grunts, and that's it.
For Valentyne, it's just another explosion in a big city.
Okay, so what I need collectively from you is we're going to see if the party manages to make it back to Hearthold without further entanglement, as it were.
Cool.
So it sounds like you're going for speed and avoidance rather than stealth. You're not taking your time. It's let's get back as fast as humanly possible. You're exposed. Morgan is leading the way and has clearly established being out in the open is her nightmare.
Correct.
So it sounds like speed over stealth. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels
We're
fair.
on bicycles. It's not very stealthy. There's nothing we can do. Ring, ring, ring.
If only we hadn't put that trading card in our wheel spokes. Okay, so... All right, I'm going to get everyone to roll this one.
Ooh, fun.
And then we're going to see what the net is collectively to see kind of whether we breach the threshold of the score that I've got here. Okay, so I will take either athletics or coordination for this. I'm going to say for Attikus. Well, Attikus, you don't need to roll actually because you're just sitting on handlebars, so you're in the clear. You're fine. Valentyne, you are not going to get a. I'm going to give setback. Sorry, this is an easier way to say this. I'm going to give a setback to Morgan and Eli for being kind of tired. You came from like a firefight hostage scenario after running the bar all night, so you're a little tuckered out. Valentyne, you're not. You managed to rest up a bit and drink some caffeine back when you were on base, so you're good. So you don't need to worry about that setback. Eli, you definitely get a setback for Attikus being on the handlebars. Morgan, I'm going to give you a setback because you're also navigating.
Mm-hmm.
Valentyne, I'm going to give you a boost because you established that you're constantly looking for threats. And I'll give everyone one boost from Attikus. Not having to bike means he's actively looking for threats as well.
Nice, okay. What's our difficulty?
The difficulty, there are 4 of you, so the difficulty will be 4.
Ugh. All right.
Cool. Have at it.
3 points.
Story point wise, we are sitting at 1 and 4 in my favor.
Ugh.
Who needs it?
I already rolled and it's a wash.
Okay.
Well, if it's okay, I guess I'll take it because I'm on point.
Yeah.
Would prefer to not be, but that's where we're at. Okay. Suppose I'll roll. Okay. I got 2 successes, 2 advantages.
2 successes, 2 advantages for Valentyne.
Hey.
All right. Excellent. You guys are on the nose. So good work. So with your combined kind of like between Morgan's knowledge, Kotzker's knowledge of the neighborhoods, using Toby, Valentyne, you just kind of keeping your eyes open. Attikus, you keeping eyes open. You're able to avoid kind of the rest of the chaos. There are other ambushes happening throughout the city as we established. So occasionally you do see people running to and fro, but no one is actively chasing you because no one really... Like you were never a target specifically, aside from when your like transport got blown over. Other than that, like no one's really looking for you specifically. You're just exposed and out there. So improbably, the inquisitorial party bikes home, which is just such a fucking absurd image in my head of like, a commissar cape like flapping out behind a bike. And like Attikus on the handlebars, like he's fucking ET. But damn it, you make it work. And sure enough, the retinue returns to within sight of Harthold. And as soon as you get anywhere near there, it's just like troopers fucking rushing out, covering you, like rushing you back inside the safety of the walls. Sure enough, there have been a number of reports of violence breaking out throughout the city. Obviously, your vehicle flipping over was noticed and set off a lot of alarms. So they're very, very happy to see you. You are, of course, greeted by Lyriel Asher, who rushes out after the troopers and just kind of says, yes, Inquisitor Valentyne, welcome back to Harthold. I'm very glad to see you and your companions are alive. Interesting method of transport you have, but got the job done.
Yes, there are so many surprising things. I was wondering, in this facility, do you have any soundproof interrogation cells that are side by side?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wonderful. I would like to reserve 2 of them immediately, and I would like to place you and you under arrest into the cells.
Excuse me.
And he'd just like to wave to get Stormtroopers.
Oh, yeah, no, they're already there.
Just
Like, the
book
minute
him.
you say it.
This
But
is-
Morgan and Eli, you can still have your reaction to this.
Yes,
I
just
wanna
as expected.
Yeah, I want to say that like the stim is probably worn off by now, so I'm probably just in like quite a depressive drunk phase.
You did a lot of pedaling. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's just, well, it's only fair you let me sleep this first. Gah, you are a heavy man. Ugh.
And with that,
know.
the stormtroopers kind of like link arms with you and drag Morgan and Eli off. Toby is just like put in a box, just like latch it. You hear the steward Asher just kind of sigh under his breath and just say, "Oh, I suspect Inquisitor's going to do terrible things to them in Auntie's room." And he kind of like notices that he said that out loud. And he says, "Oh, you'll have to forgive me. Many of the soundproofed interrogation rooms are formerly beloved rooms of my childhood. Well, I'll leave you to it. I suspect you'll want to prepare your methods. We have your," and he like gestures across the gardens to your kind of like we established a kind of a command trailer set up. To your mobile command center. So you can rest up there before you do the interrogation. We're going to say like Morgan and Eli have been, again, like secreted away somewhere safe. There's more than enough Inquisition here. So Valentyne and Attikus, you have a few minutes to touch base with each other, to kind of plan out what you want to do, as well as check in with Tracius Avanicloth, your adept, who's been running around tracking things down for you.
Yes.
And if there's anything else you want to do before the interrogation, now is your time.
Valentyne would order a medic to go in and make sure that they're both like not injured in some way he's not aware of from combat. Also to get samples so he could get the genotype to prove if they're actually who they say they are. Because if he was them and it was like, I'm looking for these 2 people to haul out of this war zone, he'd be like, I'm one of those 2 people. So he's aware he could have just brought home 2 assholes. He would also make sure the bird was in custody and not damaged, because he doesn't want to fuck with the bird. He likes it. He knows it matters to Morgan, but he does not need Morgan having eyes and ears.
Yeah, I think they put it in a roadie case and like
close it
put the
all
cap
up.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put the cap on. Yeah.
Yeah, the cap though being like, instead of a like a hood, it's just one of those little webcam sliders.
Oh.
Stick it on his face, slide it over his eyes.
So, Attikus, what did you think of those 2?
Well, bloody terrible bicycle pilot, I'll tell you that. That being said, it seemed they could handle themselves in combat quite well, and well, that's how I measure most folk, and so pretty top marks from me.
Excellent, excellent. I was hoping I wouldn't have to do anything overly hostile, but Morgan was, shall we say, bucking authority on the bike, and things must be established up front.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was asking questions and she refused to answer because she decided her own priorities triumphed over mine.
Well, that Eli fellow, he was muttering mantras to the Emperor, so I like him quite a lot.
Oh, that's good. I was hoping Eli would be somewhat more of a blunt force, because I'm going to question them. However, I feel like Morgan will be, one could say, a steel box that I'll get nothing out of, whereas Eli will probably not be capable of hiding how he feels and or thinks. Which is beautiful, because I don't care for torture. As you know, chipper feelings support the Emperor, all other feelings support elsewhere, which is blasphemy. So I need people to remain as happy as possible during the whole interrogation process. I don't understand this torture. It feels like we're working for the other side.
Right. I never saw much torture myself, sir. Normally, just killing, Would you like me to kill Morgan for you if she's not going to give you information, or...
Well, I don't want to commit to that in advance, but we're not going to rule it out either, because as we know, our mission is more important than any one individual. So our plan will be to interrogate Eli and find out what Eli knows, and then use Morgan as a form of corroboration, because once we know what Eli says, we'll also know if Morgan is lying. Useful. They strike me as many things, but not as prepared for an interrogation as most criminals might actively be.
Right. Are we going to share with them the thing that might happen? I don't want to say it out loud.
If we are bringing them on board the ship with us, yes. Yes, I fully intend to make clear our purpose and our goal.
Oh, all right, sir. I trust your judgment.
Excellent. Now, we need to check in with Treseus before we go speak with them in case there's something else he's uncovered about this Psyker or something that we could use as proof that they're telling us what they know instead of either making things up or concealing things.
Any of the Psyker's personal effects, maybe?
That is a very good idea. Let's see what we can find. And he'll just do whatever his mobile command center thing is, like ringing the bell for somebody to come to the desk.
It can just be a bell. I think there's enough people standing by nearby. And sure enough, Treseus arrives quickly, looking like slightly flustered, clearly in the middle of things, but also overjoyed to see the two of you. And just says, Inquisitor, you have returned in one piece. This is good news. I am very glad to see you not dead. After all, I do not want to inherit your ship so soon. What can I do for you?
Yes, we're wondering if you'd found anything further about that Psyker, or anything about them that we could use to confirm the identities of the two people that we've uncovered. So far, the Emperor has said we've traded 3 Stormtroopers for something that'll further the case and keep him alive. Net gain!
And he stops for a second, his eyes roll up into his head and says, yes, that math, it checks out for me as well. I think that is a good trade. Yes, Deverum Gnarl is the Psyker we are looking to find out more information on. Yes, according to the admittedly somewhat spotty records of Inquisitor Hurst, I do not mean to speak ill of the dead, but he kept shitty records. But Monsieur Gnarl, the Psyker, did not seem to actually serve on any missions with Morgan Rhalls or Eli Sharpe. They were, off the case by the time. Generally they were off the case. They were not used too much by Hurst. In fact, it would seem that he really only used each of them in one action in his time, according to the records I have read. But Gnarl. Even if they did not serve with him, he was a member of the retinue at the time they were both activated. So they may know of him. They may have seen him. He was known for having a shock of silver white hair just over his left eye. And the eye itself had a purple iris from the effects of the warp. Shortly, even if he was, standing off to the left somewhere, or nearby, maybe stirring a pot in the kitchen or something, I suspect they would remember him. Plus, his hair, it was always somewhat spiked from the energies he channeled. He had a bit of a manic look to him. Honestly, according to the records, I would say he looked kind of like a fucked up exclamation mark. So. They would remember him, yes? This is a very visually arresting man.
Excellent. We believe he is alive, we just don't know where he is, correct?
According to our records, he is very much dead, along with the Inquisitor and their party. But, my hope for you, my hope for us, I guess, if I'm part of the retinue now, is that if we can at least find the lost Inquisitor Hurst's ship, perhaps we can, check the records. Maybe they're an auto seance, perhaps, for Gnarl, something that can give us some sense of the man and what he may have known. But no, we as I understand, and as our records suggest, the entire retinue of Inquisitor Hurst, they are dead. They are missing. They have been gone for some time. But if anyone would be able to perhaps lead us to this ship, my guess would be it is this Morgan Rhalls or this Eli Sharpe. Whether they know it or not, Inquisitors often, I don't need to tell you, often leave some secret ways, for the retinue to find them in times of great need. They may not be aware they have these means, but, you know, and he just kind of like looks to the bevy of kind of mean-looking tools around, and he's just like, there are many ways, as I understand, to get such information, yes?
Excellent. Well, thank you for this update. Tremendously useful. I forgot the Zyka was dead. Long day. We're going to go and speak with these two now and confirm that they are who they say they are and actually have information that's useful to us.
Yes, well, good luck with that. When you are done, when you have found out the information you need, we are getting your ship ready. And of course, my Lord Inquisitor would like to have a word with you about the Mechanicus Magi that he believes may have some utility for you on the mission.
Wonderful. Wonderful news. Everything is coming up, Emperor. It's a good day. It's a very good day.
And he'll just be like whistling chipperly as he walks through the torture garden to the interrogation cells.
Excellent. Attikus, anything you would have said or done during that encounter?
No, probably just, again, waiting to take his cues from the Inquisitor. And when Valentyne whistles a jaunty tune and walks away, Attikus will follow shortly behind him with just a little bit of a hop in his step. Right behind him.
Great. So Morgan, in your, you see that the bird you see Toby is, secreted away, but like he's fine. It's not they weren't mean to him, and I think you probably noticed that Valentyne, in giving his orders, is very clear that like don't fuck with the bird, which I think does provide you some sense of relief, not necessarily in like he cares, but in like good, the bird isn't destroyed, but it also makes you like somewhat more inclined to trust him because he at least acknowledges the value of something, which is like not all Inquisitors would. So it's something. The cell you're in is a very well appointed bedroom, or at least it was. The finery in here is such that you've never really seen. It literally, like, the wealth required to furnish this room is more than like your town would have had, pre-cult back in the day. So it is a fancy fucking room. Like, I'm thinking, like Bridgerton level opulence in excess. However, it has also been used as an interrogation room for some time, with very little regard to cleaning it up afterwards and very little regard to properly converting it. So, like, despite the fact that there's a fancy four-post bed with like drapery around it, like all that's kind of vaguely the brownish red of blood now from various spray and spatter. There's like just a full-on like there's a chair that's been knocked over that's like used to be fine velvet that's like worn through and has like deep gouges in it. There's just a lot of signals to you that this room is obviously a bad news room. Eli has been secreted away to another room. Would you have said anything to him before you were pulled into your cell?
No, I think she would have given him a pointed look while he was grumbling. Pretty much is all it is. It's like Eli's gonna Eli. There's nothing she can do about it.
On that note, Eli, is there anything you would have Eli'd before you were whisked away to your room?
No.
We're like,
no.
Fair enough.
No, he's just mumbling, grumbling. Let me just sleep just for a bit.
All right, and with that, you're in a cloud of sweat out booze. You are swept away into your room. So you are left alone with your thoughts for a few moments.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
This is would she have been searched for weapons, and or is there a system to search for weapons in this room she was put in? Because these are two different things.
Yes, you would have, I think, been like power frisked by about 4 different people, like quickly giving you like a fairly vicious pat down.
All right. In the specific terms, you need to do checks to tell that she has weapons on her currently. So if you want to put it all in one check or however you want to do it,
I really do.
Because if it was like a machine or something that could tell, that would probably just instantly find it. But if it's people patting her down or whatever, it's hidden weapons.
It's a quick pat down. You get the sense there will probably be another one before the Inquisitor is like put in a box with you, but this is just one of those overwhelming force areas, and the Stormtroopers are expendable enough that you get the sense that if you still have something after this pat down and you manage to shoot your way out, 20 people will just gun you down, and you'll probably kill 2, but they kind of don't care. But yeah, give me your stats, please.
Let me see. So one of them is a 4 difficulty perception check.
Nice.
So one of the weapons. And then the other weapon is... any perception check to detect it adds 3 setback.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead with the first one. They get a bunch of boosts because they're doing this. There's a bunch of them doing it. All right.
For flavor, anyway.
No, I like it. I like it. It's a tremendously weird skill. Man,
I mean, strange stuff.
This is interesting. 8 successes. So they find it real good. But I do have 1 threat, so we'll add that to the setback clock on the next roll. So for your which weapon is the one that has the force?
The one with the setback is a gun. The one that they found first that was the 4 difficulty is actually her gloves on her arms. Our electrocution gloves. So she has no gloves now. And then the other one is a gun that is a small gun in a hidden holster. So it gives 3 setback.
So I'm bumping that up to 4 because of the threat. That said, this one won't be 4 difficulty because it's not. Or will it be 4 difficulty?
It's just a check to perceive it. It doesn't say what difficulty. Yeah, so probably average check.
Yeah, cool. 7 advantages, 4 failures. So,
I'm not saying I'm gonna use it. I'm just saying it's there. Maybe.
Did you find any guns? No, I was looking for electric clothes.
Well, I think maybe that is it. In taking the gloves off you, it buys you time to like kick the gun away from you. And they Tyler?
Now you see me to it, just all around and shit.
Yes, exactly.
No,
like
I'm
Ilsa Fisher walks by, gets it, or whoever. Yeah,
she just took off the gloves really slow and sultry like, and was like making a big show out of it, and then whoop the gun.
Yep.
Quick little tease before being interrogated.
Hey,
look, these
Stormtroopers. Ooh, what's this now?
You already all have your hands all over me. It doesn't matter at this point.
There's a special kind of flustered that comes to Imperial Stormtroopers whose lives are literally be the wall that takes the bullet before anyone related to the Inquisition does. So yeah, they're sufficiently distracted that you're able to like just kick the gun away. And
there's sultry wrist action now with the gloves off. Like, oh.
I think they're also just like fascinated by like, this isn't normally what we pull off of people. Like, cool. But yeah, so there's a sultry wrist action, just Bollywood style. You're just like giving proper like wrist rolls. They're all distracted. Now you see B2 the gun away. And then as you start to move back towards the room, I think you're able to just boot the gun into the room. That said, they have 7 advantage. So I'm gonna say, okay. What kind of gun is it, Del? Like, what's the power source of the gun? Is it slug or
it's
energy?
a last pistol, but it's a hot shot. So it's a 1 cartridge last pistol hot shot.
Okay, that's funny because I was gonna take it down to 1 shot. We'll say that the gun and the hot shot, like the hot shot gets knocked out of the gun.
So it's separate.
It's in the room somewhere, but you didn't see where it went. So it's in there. The gun you're able to immediately pocket again, but you have to actually physically search the room for the ammo, which you would have no trouble doing, except almost immediately after you're thrown into this room, You hear an odd sound of clicking outside, and almost footsteps, but clicking footsteps. And the door opens to reveal a smell, a heavy, musky scent that just kind of washes over you like a smelly tide. And standing there on cloven hooves in a very, very worn velvet coat that would have once been very, very fine, with kind of vaguely bestial features and a tiny little like parsonnet on the bottom of his nose, 2 cracked off horns, holding a clipboard, is Thaddeus Thunderhorn, your doctor.
Wait, what?
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter as Attikus Vis, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter as Eli Sharpe, Del Borovic at Deltastic on Twitter as Morgan Rhalls, and our Game Master Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com, DELBOROVIC. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ads use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. We have merchandise available at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, and most importantly, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: the Half-Blind Prophet, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Sammy Boy, Orion Birchfield, Scott Garland, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Acrix, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Austin Nut Powers Fry, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Roman Brown, Shulzari, Christian Mendez, Spot Allen, Flynn 1138, Alarain Okapi, OMG It's Big Nick, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.